billionaire space travel, sort of story. Jeff's finally made it into space with his Blue Origin craft, and obviously that got a whole bunch of attention. I did happen to, chuckle when he stepped off the lander or whatever, and in his cowboy hat and going woohoo and all that sort of stuff at the end of it, which I thought was hilarious. Or between that and him thanking every Amazon employee and customer for paying for the trip. Yeah. But I thought the more interesting aspect to his whole part of the trip was getting Wally Funk to actually join the trip. I thought that was actually a pretty nice and appropriate touch, given the story around how she was rejected from the original sort of program 60 years ago, and even though she was potentially more qualified than some of her male counterparts that got to go, and now after all this time, she had the energy, she had the excitement to go still, and she proved them all wrong, I guess, by jumping in there and going up into space, even if it took a billionaire to pay for it.
Yeah, I think she was a great story, and you can see. I think. I wonder who Elon's going to take with him. But it's a great move by Jeff Bezos. And I think that while some of his behaviours and even thanking the rest of us for paying for it was a little bit crazy, I mean, it's fantastic that she got to go. Although, on the other side, I mean, we've been talking about balloon trips, and we're talking about sort of effectively Branson's rocket plane is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is an old-fashioned rocket, but the irony is that Branson's plane is 50s technology, and really, Blue Origin's is 60s. It's not a very big rocket. It fires for 4 minutes. It scarcely gets above 100 Ks. And then by 9 minutes, you're back down. I don't know. I don't know that I'd be paying big bucks for that, even if he has got the biggest windows in any spacecraft in it.
Just on that, is there, could you see, I don't think it's too hard to imagine that at some point in the future there'd be, like longer trips per se, where they can get around the technicalities and probably the commercial viability options as well, in terms of being shot up there and doing an orbit or something. So at least you've got a couple of rotations around the Earth or something for at least a couple of hours, so that you can take it all in, enjoy it, etc., before coming back down. But we might be a bit off that. Like, it might take a while to get to something like that, but this might be the beginning of that sort of thing.
This is interesting, and you hear a lot of things, but it's hard to know what's actually true. So they're talking about using these rockets now to get people to the ISS, which I don't know how that works, but I guess it pays for the ISS or something. But more interestingly is Elon has got rockets powerful enough now to take floating space hotels up.
Yeah.
So it might only be 2 or 3 years before there's a hotel up there and you can go and spend a couple of nights.
Which could be interesting, as long as it's all safe, of course.
Oh, well, it's only as safe as it can be safe, and this is the whole point. So I'm sure it'll be safe enough, but probability would dictate at some point, the more people you put up there, the greater likelihood that there is something will go wrong. And that's not to dampen anyone's enthusiasm, because if I was going into space, I'd want to stay in a space hotel. There's 4 minutes of weightlessness and looking out big windows doesn't really do it for me.
Well, maybe we can hold on to that, the idea of hanging out in a space hotel, hanging out at the bar, checking in for a couple of nights. Sounds like a fun holiday, something definitely different.
It definitely would be different, that's for sure.